My name's Cheri. Welcome to my Stampin' Up studio. So I have a couple of more projects left that will be sneak peek because we're just a couple of days away from being able to order from this catalog. I did send a couple of out today, and hopefully you'll get those because it's Friday. This is the day it's going to post. But you still have enough time to get it and probably have it in your hot little hands before my catalog kickoff specials are posted. So if you want this and you don't have a demonstrator, I would be happy to send you a paper copy because if you're like me, you like to hold it and feel it and look through the pages. And I wanted to let you know a couple of things. One, on Tuesday morning, the day that we can finally show you the inside of the catalog, I'm going to go back through all of the things that I've made, a couple of things that I've made it a shoebox swap, and kind of show you the inside pages. And I'm also going to show you what I ordered and what you can look forward to as far as my online classes coming up for the next couple of months. It'll kind of help you. I know some of you like to plan your purchases so you can get the stamp set when the class is on, so that way you get more goodies, because if you get the sets that have the stamps, there's always some freebies thrown in there. So that will post on Tuesday morning. My paper share and my pansy class will close on Sunday, so you need to have registered for those on Sunday, which is probably the day this will post. It may post on Saturday, but the pansy class, paper share, over, and they won't be offered again. So it's now or never with those. And if you're on my email list, you'll get those details. And the final thing is my Try It class, my favorite class of the year. And it will still, I think it will make it till catalog kickoff week. And if it does, then I'll be able to show you a little bit more, but it's getting pretty close to being full. So if you want to do that, you need to go over and get on that. So I haven't done a what's on my desk recently because I've been trying to use all the new stuff, but I've still got a few more new things I wanted to use, and so this was laying on my desk. So this is where we're going to kind of go with today's card. This tutorial is up. It's both on the same one, and this is called Inspired Canopy, and it is lovely. So this stuff was still here, and I wanted to go ahead and use the hand penned petals. So I'm using this, and then these are, let me see if it still has the name on the back or if I've taken it off. No, it's still here. These are the hand penned Memories and More cards and envelopes. So I just want you to see how incredibly beautiful these are. So here's the back of your envelope. I'll get the one out that I'm using, I guess, so they're not all over the place. I'm thinking VIP Video Club, maybe in June. I've got so many things. I'm like, when can I put this on? But I've already decided on my VIP Video Club projects for May. So maybe these will be what you get in June if you're part of that. So, and all you have to do to be part of it is spend $50 the month before. So here's the card and here's the envelopes. So if you have the paper, of course, it will match. But sometimes we like to just stamp and not be matchy-matchy. So I'm going to do that partly because I have not used these at all. I've hardly used the blends, so I wanted to use some of the new color blends. And then I've hardly used the bark background, which I'm going to use on this card as well. And the window sheet was laying on my desk, as were the colors. I was really inspired by these colors, which are not the colors necessarily of the envelope that I'm going to use, but that's okay. These were the colors that I used the one time that I did use the hand pen. So you can go back and look at that tutorial. One of the things, if you're on my Facebook page, on Monday or Tuesday, I will post all of the samples that I've made. I've been holding off on making a gallery for those. So you'll be able to go over to my Facebook page and you can see everything. And then you'll know that it has a tutorial, because if it doesn't, I'll say. So for this, I have a sheet of, I think it is, yeah, shimmer white. I meant to pull out shimmer white. Sometimes it's hard with these lights on to tell if it is. So I have just a piece of shimmer white, and then I have some window sheet. So let's stamp. I'm gonna use Memento. The card doesn't take very long to put together. So when you have a big stamp like this, I think it's easier to stamp these this direction. So this is the big bouquet of flowers, which is the same one I used last time. So originally I pulled out the other set of flowers. It's also a two-step stamp, so you don't have to color them. But because I wanted to color my blend with my blends, that made that decision for me. But the technique I'm going to do required this because it needed the die. And then there's these two like They're kind of baby's breath things. So stamp these, and those all have dies. This one has a really fun die. And then I'm going to take my card, and there's really pretty fonts in this, and I went with the one that says, anything is possible. And I'm just gonna stamp this right down here. So now that's all the stamping that we need to do. You could put something on the inside of this card because there's a lot of other flowers in the sets and other things. You could put one of the baby's breaths on the inside, but just for time, that's all I'm gonna do. So let's take all of our pieces and trim them out. Oops, I moved my scrap paper underneath it. So the first thing we're gonna do is we will cut out this piece. So see, this is the baby's breath. And you wanna make sure it's lined up to the bottom because that top part cuts some really pretty detail for you. And then we will cut this. So get those, whoops, get those two cut out first. See what this does? It has this really pretty, like half punched little scallop at the top. Well, so now I'm going to take, still need to get this one out. It only comes with one die, I think. Afterwards, I thought, well, I'm not 100% sure because I already have them hanging on my board. So maybe there's two. If you get the set, you can find out along with me. So I'm gonna do this one again. And then I have a small piece of window sheet just here. It's just a little scrap piece of window. And I'm gonna do the overlay flowers that match this stamp, which is why I had to use the stamp, that stamp and not the one that I originally put out. So let's run these through. I'm also doing a cut and emboss giveaway. It's gonna be a drawing. So if you don't have one and you would like to have one, that's just the window sheet making that noise, then make sure you're on my email or go over to my website and find out the different ways that you can be entered to win. So now we have both of these. And then look how much fun this is. Now the thing is, it doesn't poke it out all the way. It might poke out some of them all the way. I don't care if it doesn't. I just need the frame itself to poke out. So you might have to just pull the little bits where it sticks. But you could poke all of these pieces out if you want them. I don't want them all poked out. I want it to look kind of like a glass over the top. So we have that. And then I'm going to take the 4 by 5.5 piece of window sheet. And that I'm going to stick in the new bark folder. Just lay it in here. It doesn't make any noise at all, which is kind of surprising, I thought, because the other one kind of creaks. I thought this would. I did run it through twice just to kind of get that pushed in there, which I don't like to do that very often with this plate, but we don't do window sheet very often. Look how fun that is. It just gives it some texture. It doesn't necessarily look like bark, but we don't need it to for this card. I just wanted to add a little bit of texture because here's the thing. We're using this really pretty base, and you know, just like on the other one where I didn't want to cover up my tree trunks, you don't want to cover up all this card because we just got this beautiful card to use, so we might as well let it shine through. So let's color this in. I haven't colored with blends on a tutorial for a while. I've smacked the heck out of them because that's one of my favorite things to do, but I haven't actually colored. So a lot of the stamps that we've gotten recently, I think, just didn't need to be colored. So here's the new papaya. So I'm gonna go dark first. I'll give you a little bit of a tutorial because I know there's some new people that are watching that probably haven't even seen me color with blends, and you might not think that it's my thing. It's my thing. Normally I do it a lot. I recommend that you color after you cut your things out of your die machine, because how many times have we put something through and it just moves just a smidge and it's not cut right? And so if you've spent all of your time coloring and it looks all beautiful and then you run it through and it doesn't cut right, it's really sad. But if you do it this way, it's already cut. So we know it's good, it's cut, and now we can color. So this is pale papaya. The other one was the dark pale papaya. I'm just kind of blend those a little bit. Some of the colors on here, you might be like, interesting color choice. But remember, I'm trying to use a lot of my new stuff. I didn't put the evergreen or the succulent on it, which there are blends in all of the colors this year, but they didn't really match because I think this is Pool Party. It might be mint, but it looked like Pool Party to me. So because I wasn't sure, I'm using both, and then it matches. So we have those. Now I'm going to take my dark polished, or my light polished pink, and just kind of add some of this around the center and kind of give it some stripes, maybe up a little here. You want to make sure that your ink is dry. In the winter, I haven't had to say that at all, because if you live in the US and you had a cold winter and you had your heater on, then that wasn't an issue. My windows are open today, and it's not raining today, but it has been, and it's much more muggy than it was when I was coloring in the winter. So if I stamp and then color right away, another good reason to run them through the die machine first. If I do it right away, sometimes it has a tendency to smear, because it just takes it longer to dry when it's muggy. And you know, welcome to summer in the Midwest. So now I'm gonna take my light one again, and now I'm gonna blend all this stuff together. So all these lines will start to disappear. Remember, it also will bleed, but this card, it doesn't matter so much if it goes outside the lines. It kind of just gives it that arty feel. But many times we don't want the things to look like a 3-year-old colored them. So don't go right up to your edge. Let it just bleed to the edge. So we'll just get this all blended together. Part of this I'm going to fast forward. Okay, so I've done those. Now I'm going to do my leaves. And for these, because I wasn't quite sure, it kind of looks like mint and it kind of looks like Pool Party. So we're going to use both. You don't have to use the same light and dark. So I do have light of both of these. I'm going to use, I think this is opposite that one I did on my other one, but it doesn't matter. I'm just going to put one color over the lines. And again, this, you would want to make sure that was dry, because this light would smear if your ink isn't all the way set. And sometimes you can just stamp something on the side of your paper and use that to be your testing. Now this is the light Pool Party. So you see it looks pretty. The two colors, they're not the same. And I'm not even really blending these. I'm just kind of adding the color around so we get kind of a variation of color. Now I'm going to go back and hit these. So we have I don't want to use the dark Pool Party. I don't want it that dark, but when you hit it the second time with the same color, you can see it just darkens that up. So got those. And then another new color is the Fresh Freesia. So for this, I'm gonna just lightly color these little flowers. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna do the dark here. This is a really pretty purple. At some point, I want to do a purple card, so everything's purple. And then this is the light. I'm not even coloring all the way on these because I want them to feel a little arty. And then I'm going to go back and take that dark polished pink and just kind of hit the insides of those. So that's all the coloring we need to do. Now we have all of, oh, nope, I lied. I did color these, and I just ever so lightly wisped them with the brush tip of the Pool Party. Because Baby's Breath, you know, is kind of clear. I didn't want to put brown on this card. There is brown and cinnamon cider in the set, so it kind of just looks like sky behind the baby's breath, or Queen Anne's lace. You know, it's an arty flower, just like the arty way we're coloring. So I am going to use Seal Plus for this because I think it will hold this a little bit better. I know my flowers are going to kind of go here, so I'm going to stick that there. And then the way that it went through, like one way kind of bows and the other way, you want to put it bowing side down because then it will kind of flatten itself out. So now we have another layer and a bunch of pretty texture, but we didn't cover up any of the card. That was my goal, or not. I mean, we are going to cover up a little bit, but ever so slightly now. So now take your big bunch of flowers and some dimensionals. Look, I've almost used them all up. Makes me so happy when I use up a final one, because I like to use every last bit of these because it all is dimension. So I got this. You want to make sure that you always color on a piece of scrap if you're coloring with blends, because you can see that bled through. And if you want to see me color the whole thing, I always put a sped up video on my Instagram channel a couple of days after I post a video. So I'm going to stick this here, have that nice raised up texture. So then I'm going to get, this is not new, this is Pool Party, but it did carry over, and it's one of my favorite ribbons from the last catalog. So this I want to be kind of the leaves, because that's what it's our leaves. So I'm going to do a double loop. If you don't like to tie ribbons, this is your kind of card. So I'm going to take my glue dots, because they were laying on my desk. I don't use glue dots a lot, but they were here from my other card. So the first thing I'm going to do is take this long. You see I sized it to be the size I need. Pinch that together. Get another glue dot. And then bring this down here and put that on there. And now you have this little loopy thing again. And then I'm going to take these and put another glue dot on either side. The other ones won't take this many glue dots, but this one's our leaves and we want it to be nice and puffy and big. So just kind of lift this up. You can use your scissors or you can use this. This actually works a little bit better. So stick that in there. And then two of the ribbons I had not used. Oh, no, I have used this one. This is the Fresh Freesia. This, I just want one loop. It's going to be another flower. And then I'll go ahead and cut this one. And this is the Pale Papaya. This is the first time I've opened it. But if you're in the Try It class, you'll get these. On every card, we'll have new ribbons, new papers, new embellishments. So then you'll get to see them. That's the name, why I named it that. Because then you get to try it to see if you want to buy it. But there's no point in trying it without having a project to try it with, right? So that's why I give you the class. So there's one glue dot. And the other. It seems a little bit fiddly, but especially if you don't like to tie bows, then this is perfect. And let's do the same thing for this. We're almost done. One. Hook it together. And then you just need one to stick it to the card. So the one glue dot's holding the ribbon in the loop and the other one's putting it on the card. Still not done with those. Just gonna lift that up. The Take Your Pick tool helps to stick it under, but it also helps to push it down. And then we'll take our little baby's breasts, Queen Anne's lace, whatever they are. And these are going to go in a different spot than my other ones were because my card's a little bit mounted a little bit different the way the ribbon fell. That's why I'm using the Seal Plus to get it to stick to the window, and that ribbon, this just holds it just a little bit better. You could use any of our glues as well. So now we have this. Isn't that pretty? So you could stop there, but why? Because remember we cut this out. So I'm going to put 2 glue dots on it as well. So I'm just going to go for the centers of the 2 big flowers. That way I know where they are. If some of your bits fall out, that's fine. Some of mine have fallen out. So some of them will have holes, like this one has a hole. And some of them will have the pretty kind of like glass looking top on it. And then they just line up over the flowers. They don't go everywhere. It's kind of a smaller version, but it kind of makes that look like glass. It's really pretty. probably harder to see, go to my website afterwards and I'll try to get a good picture for you. And then one last final touch. I don't think I've used these a lot either. The Genial Gems. They may go with this suite. I'm so busy today. I'm like, I don't have time to look all this stuff up. I can't put the shopping list on for you. That is another thing that will appear on my website on Tuesday. Probably not at the beginning of the day because, you know, catalog kickoff day is full with so many things I have to do because we can't do them till that day. But I will have made shopping lists for all of the projects that I have done so far. So if there's one that you've really liked or one that you see when I do the catalog walkthrough with you, then you can go over and the shopping list will be there. I can't do it now because there's no links to put up. So here's this. Isn't that pretty? Here's my other one. They look pretty much the same. But it gives it a really fun texture. It's totally different. And you get to see all of that pretty paper that's on the card that you got because it's just this one side. So that's this. I'm going to try to get one more thing. I have not used the rainbow glimmer paper and I haven't used the borders. I think that that's about it. I have this dread that I'm going to like look through my stuff and there's going to be a whole stamp set that I've ignored, but I think I got it all. So make sure you shop with me on Tuesday or Wednesday. My catalog kickoff will go over 2 days. That gives you kind of time to watch everything. But I always have monthly thank you specials, and on catalog kickoff days, I have an additional special if you buy on those. I always do 2 days. So everybody have a great one and come back later for some more. Bye.